In the world of football, most clubs experience relegation, some clubs experience administration, and very few fall off the face of the earth. But there's one club in the world that stands out from the rest. You see, there is a club out there that has died and come back to life 4 times in the last 25 years. This is the story of a club that's been sold, relocated, revived, renamed, everything you can think of, they've experienced it, and yet somehow they still live to this day. With every comeback, they reignite the hopes of the city just for it all to be ripped away once again. This isn't just football, this is chaos onto another level, and this is the story of Club Deportivo Irapuato. Founded in 1910 in the heart of Guanajuato, Club Deportivo Irapuato spent the first 30 years of its existence playing in the regional leagues within the state of Guanajuato before becoming one of the founding members of Mexico's second division in the 1940s. In those 30 years playing regional football in Guanajuato, they built a strong rivalry with this club right here, Club León, a club that most of you will know right now because it is the home of Colombian superstar James Rodriguez. Before we dive deeper into the chaos of this football club, I wanted to have a look into the nickname and into the badge of this football club because as badges go, this is one of the coolest out there, and their nickname is the Strawberries, which actually came from a game that went on all the way back in 1949 when they played against a football team called La Piedad, when a commentator, Don Agustin Gonzalez Escopeta, referred to them as the Strawberry Lashers, which was initially seen as an insult to the club, but it's a nickname that they've coined ever since, and as of 2002 has been ever present in the club's badge. Okay, so looking into the history of Club Deportivo Irapuato, and in the 20th century, a lot of it is very normal stuff. They spent a lot of that time in the second division, brief stints in the top flight as well, but the real chaos and the real drama for this football club comes at the start of the 21st century. Okay, so this is where the story gets crazy, because in the year 2000, Irapuato makes a beautiful return to the top flight of Mexican football, something that should be cherished and should be honoured by the people of Irapuato. But what happens within a few months of them being back in the top flight is that the club is bought by business owners in Veracruz, a place that's nowhere near Irapuato. So the club essentially packs its bags, goes all the way over to Veracruz, with the fans left in the city without a football club. Yes guys, if you're enjoying this story of Club Deportivo Irapuato, make sure to let me know down in the comments section whilst hitting the like and subscribe button so I can continue making videos like this in the future. And with that all being said, let's get back to the video. So then in a dramatic twist, you then have the football team from Irapuato going over to Veracruz, and there's some kind of swap here because there's a third team involved, a team from Querétaro that then decides to pack its own bags and move to Irapuato. So then you're having this weird cycle of teams moving from one place to the other. But what it essentially means is that Irapuato, despite getting promoted to the top flight, their team has gone to Veracruz, and this team from Querétaro, they're in the second division, meaning that the fans of Irapuato, they're back in the second division all over again. So a club that's looking to rebuild under the kind of name of Querétaro, they go again in the second division, and a few years later, they get promoted again. Another huge moment for the club, and in doing so, they beat their arch nemesis, León, in the final to be able to go to the top flight. And what happens again is they get to the top flight, and the club moves again. The club goes to a city called Colima, and it's another situation for the fans that they have to deal with, where they've managed to reach the pinnacle of Mexican football and the club dissolves. So it's just a simply bizarre story of a football club that has lost everything. It's built its way back up. It's got to the top flight of Mexican football for a second time in 5 or 6 years, and then the club decides to pack its bags and move to a different part of the country. So here we are in 2005, where the club has just moved to Colima. The fans have nothing, they have no football club, and after 1 year of being dissolved, a football club from Mérida, from the coast of Mexico, decides to move inland to Irapuato. So for the third time in 5 or 6 years, Irapuato are somehow back again. So at this point, the fans just have no idea what's going on. Do they have a club? Don't they have a club? It's this strange cycle of getting promoted, the club then gets sold, relocated, the club's dissolved, and then someone else moves back into the city. And then to make things even worse, I don't know if you can say it's worse, but considering that Irapuato has always been a club that was in the second and first division of Mexican football, by 2006, Everything goes so horribly wrong that they even get relegated down to the third division of Mexican football. So at this point, by the late noughties, Irapuato is in unfamiliar territory, down in the third division. But at the first time of asking, they get promoted to the second division, where they somehow manage to convince Mexican legendary striker Cuauhtemoc Blanco to join the club. And with him in the side, they even go one further and get back to the top flight, the Liga MX, the top flight of Mexican football. But it doesn't last for long. You see, by the time they got back up to the top flight, there were heavy disputes between Blanco and Irapuato, and they decided to rip up his contract. And in doing that, they owed him up to $3 million, something that they just could not afford. So at this point in 2012, Irapuato did what it does best. It packed its bags and it headed to Morelos, leaving fans in the dark once again. They knew they couldn't afford Cuauhtemoc Blanco's contract, so they decided to run from their problems once again. Under new ownership, Grupo Tecamachalco, they started to get back to their old ways. They were working towards promotion back to the top flight of Mexican football for a fourth time of asking at this point. And as they were about to achieve it, the Mexican Federation had other ideas. You see, just as they were about to earn promotion to the top flight of Mexican football, the Federation decided that they didn't have the financial strength to be able to do so and ultimately blocked them from getting promoted. So then, to make matters worse, they went under new ownership a year later in 2021, and they lost access to their own stadium because they couldn't afford to fund it. So what do they do at that point? They go back into hiatus. It's a fourth time that Club Deportivo Irapuato has been dissolved. So here we are in 2023 and Club Deportivo Irapuato is back for a fifth time. I mean, you can't blame the football fans of Irapuato from having attachment issues, because every time they build a bond with the football club, it just packs its bags and goes to a different part of the country. In the last couple of months, Irapuato has been invited to Liga de Expansión, the second division of Mexican football, after the actual winners of the third division, Pereban, ironically didn't meet financial requirements. And what's so funny about this is that Irapuato almost didn't actually go through with this invitation to go back into the Liga de Expansión after the club's new owner and the big sponsors of the club, Healthy People, had a major dispute. It was so big that the government of Guanajuato had to step in and settle this debate. And so officially on July the 10th, 2025, Irapuato were announced as the newest members of the Liga de Expansión, the second division of Mexican football, and finally they are back to where they belong. So that's where we are right now with Club Deportivo Irapuato. I mean, this club has had so much drama. I don't know how the fans of Irapuato managed to survive this, because it's a true test of their loyalty, a true test of their support of the club, for them to still be sticking around despite all of the changes, you know, whether they have a club or whether they don't have a club. One thing I haven't even mentioned in this video is the fact that they've actually changed their names so many times in this period. At one point they were Real Irapuato, they were Club Irapuato por Siempre, and they were Atletico Irapuato, and so on. They've changed their names so many times, and I don't know how they've done it. Fans of Irapuato, if you're watching this video, I congratulate you, because I don't know how you've managed to survive this long with so much uncertainty, so much instability, but like I say, I credit you guys. So where they are right now, they are in the Liga de Expansión. I've made a few videos looking at this league a few times, but basically it's a league that has no relegations, that has no promotions. So hopefully this will bring some stability to the club, because what it means by being in this league is that they should have some sort of financial support from the league. They should be able to stay in the league without having any issues. But obviously there's a fear that if promotions are brought in again, will they get promoted and will they move to another part of the country? It's happened 4 or 5 times now, so I just pray for the people of Irapuato that if that does happen, that they will have a club in the first division. It's all they're asking for. So for the fans, the city, the Strawberries, I'm very happy for you guys to be back in the second division of Mexican football. I'm hoping that when I go back out to Mexico, I get to visit you guys and I get to tell this story in a deeper, sort of meaningful level. But for now, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Make sure to like and subscribe. Until next time, peace out.